Hey guys, ow! Okay, we're off to a painful start. Thank you for stopping by for yet another educational video. That's right, prepare for a 90% influx of fitness information and 10% admiring my good hair. Actually, no, it's not that good today, but it's not my fault, guys. It's rainy and stuff and gloomy and misty and weird. And so the topic at hand today is something which I feel might be, it's a little bit more basic, but I think for a lot of you guys out there, it's going to be tremendously helpful. When I was first starting out, it was definitely kind of confusing because there's so many different exercises. There's hundreds of exercises out there, and you only have a certain amount of time throughout the week, unless you want to be in the gym every day, working out for 2 hours a day and doing 300 different exercises. No, you need to select and pick and choose the best ones for each part of the body, and to select which ones those are, it's kind of confusing. And especially if you guys are out there, you're kind of beginners in your first 1, 2, maybe 3 years of training, it's kind of hard to know which ones are the best. But fortunately, I'm going to try to save you guys essentially the 13 years of trial and error that I took to get here. I'm 27, I've been working out since I was 14 or something. It's pretty much been half my life, so hopefully you guys are going to learn a thing or two. These are the 5 exercises that I personally could not live without, and I definitely recommend that if you guys watching this video if you aren't doing any of these, yeah, I would change that if I were you. There are a lot of different variations of chest-focused exercises you can do. Barbells, dumbbells, cables, machines, incline, decline, all these different angles, all these different machines. There's a lot of them that you can do. But guys, in my personal opinion, when it comes to my programming and my recommendation, the incline barbell bench press is the king of chest workouts, specifically when you're trying to build an aesthetic physique. There's a few reasons behind this. Number one is simply put, it's a compound exercise. That's always a plus. Essentially, exercises which use multiple muscle groups across multiple joints, as opposed to isolation exercises where it's kind of to put it simply, it's just big exercises and small exercises. And this kind of ties into another reason, because whenever you're doing any kind of bench movement, whether it be dumbbells, barbells, or whatever, it's always going to utilize your chest and your triceps. Triceps more so as a secondary exercise to facilitate the actual pushing mechanism or movement of the exercise. But when you do the incline, usually on a 30-degree inclination on, you actually set the bench, that's actually going to incorporate a little bit of your anterior deltoids, which is the fancy scientific way of saying your front deltoids, your front shoulders. So this is awesome because this really gives you a lot of bang for your buck. You do one exercise, but you are working out simultaneously 3 different muscle groups. Because of the angle, you're going to be, I'd probably say it's still specifically a chest-focused exercise, upper chest focus, but with just a little bit, a sprinkle on top of a little bit of anterior shoulder development, and then also triceps on top of that. So it's awesome because you're doing a big compound exercise. It's heavy, you are pushing a lot of weight, and usually that's also pretty damn good, as opposed to doing small little weak isolation exercises with 40, 50 pounds. Well, on the incline barbell bench press, you can put up some massive weight. I'm doing in the clips that you guys are seeing right now, I was doing as heavy as 225 pounds for a set of 10 reps. That is a lot of weight to lift with your chest, shoulders, and triceps all simultaneously working. This really is the best example of getting the most bang for your buck, because you are getting the most amount of stimulation possible for multiple muscle groups without having to do multiple different exercises, which is going to take more time, it's going to take more energy, and this really is a perfect example of a truly efficient exercise. Next up, guys, exercise number 2, the squat, specifically the low bar squat. This is the king of all exercises, and it's called this for a good reason. The amount of stimulation you get for your entire body is dramatic. There are certain, quad-focused leg exercises. You got leg press, dumbbell lunges. You can do Bulgarian split squats. You can even do leg extensions on certain machines, hack squats. There's a lot of exercises you can do. But in terms of the sheer poundage lifted by so many muscle groups in your body working in synchronization, not just the quads, that is the primary muscle group involved, But I mean, when you actually look at one of those charts, it's like half the body is like lit up. I mean, there's so many things going on. Besides the quads, you've also got your glutes, you've got your hamstrings, you've got your core used to stabilize yourself throughout the entire movement. I mean, when you've got 300 pounds of solid steel resting on your body, you can bet your ass that your body's gonna use as many resources as possible, and in this case, muscles, to get yourself back up. And that is why the squat is just friggin' awesome. You can do all these little exercises like, the dumbbell this and the leg extension and this machine and all these weird little lightweight contraptions, but at the end of the day, nothing is gonna build you an impressive, jacked, strong lower body like a heavy set of squats. Get under the bar and lift some heavy ass shit. It's not rocket science. And to add to that, guys, a little bit of a cherry on top. When I say the squat, I specifically prefer the low bar squat, which for those of you guys, if you don't understand what that is, all it is essentially you're doing the regular squat, but the bar is placed maybe like 2 or 3 inches lower on your back. This actually tends to make the exercise a little bit less of a quadricep specific exercise, and it makes it more into a hip extension style exercise. So this actually recruits, those secondary muscle groups I mentioned, the hamstrings, the glutes, and your lower back, the erector spinae, it actually starts to involve those muscle groups a little bit more. It's not like a drastic change and suddenly this is a completely different exercise, but it does tend to change a little bit, and in most cases, it makes it a little bit stronger. For instance, if you want a real life example, the heaviest squat that I have ever done in my life was 425 pounds, obviously using the low bar technique. But when it comes to the high bar, the heaviest I've ever done was like 365. And even then, it's just the way it feels on your back, once you actually get used to low bar, it just feels way less stable and downright a lot weaker. I mean, 365 in terms of difficulty level on the high bar, it was very similar to the low bar, despite the fact that it's a 60-pound difference. And again, guys, if you can lift more weight, chances are you're gonna put on more muscle mass. Exercise number 3, in my opinion, the best, the most efficient back exercise, the lat pull down. And yes, I know that like 98% of you are like, wait a second, what? You're not talking about the pull-ups? That's like the bread and butter of every back training routine. Not necessarily. I actually do not agree with that. And it all comes down to one word, one specific reason, and that is versatility. So pull-ups are awesome, but the problem is like, you're kind of limited by your body weight. If you want to do less than your body weight, unless you have like an assisted pull-up machine or some kind of weird combination of bands adding counterweight, you really are kind of limited in your ability to decrease the weight. And this is a big problem out there for beginners. If you can do like, 6 to 8, you can build up over time to 8 to 10, 10 to 12. But if you can't even do, if you can't even do 1, you have no room to grow because you can't even do the exercise to begin with. And that's a big problem. That's a problem that does not exist with the lat pull downs. If I want to do more weight, I want to put on 30, 40, 50 pounds of additional weight, instead of having to hold a dumbbell in between my legs awkwardly or, get additional equipment, if the gym has it or if it doesn't have to bring my own and carry all this chains and shit around with me, I can just go to the lat pull down machine and in like 1 second, just put it to 200, 210, 220, whatever I want. Or on the other hand, if I want to, decrease the weight, I can put it down to 150, 135. I can put it down to 20 pounds if I wanted to. And also a really awesome thing about it is because I personally love doing drop sets. But with the lat pull down, you do 180, 150, 100, 90, 80, you can do whatever you want, and to actually switch the weights, it takes 1 second. So you get all the benefits of pull-ups with none of the negatives, none of the actual weight selection limitations, and that's pretty damn awesome in my opinion. And the second reason why I love the versatility of lat pull downs is because there's always like 2 kinds of pulling exercises you can do. There's vertical pulls and horizontal pulls. Essentially any kind of like lat pull down pull-up exercise, or you do horizontal pulling, which is just a fancy way of saying rows. So dumbbell rows, barbell rows, seated cable rows. And if you want to develop a good back, you should usually, in my opinion, have about a 50-50 combination of both. But the awesome thing about lat pull downs is just by a very minor form change. Instead of doing lat pull downs kind of like perfectly straight up with a kind of a wide grip, if you actually have a more narrow grip or even a reverse grip, such as in the footage you guys are seeing right now, and you kind of lean back a little bit more, instead of being perfectly straight up, you lean back towards like a 20 to 30 degree angle, it actually starts to become a little bit more of a horizontal pull. So that's why I love this exercise, because you just by doing minor changes in terms of your actual back, angle, the way you are seated, or the way that you are actually holding the actual lat pull down bar, you can get the best of both worlds. So again, guys, I don't want to spend too much time and rant about how much I love like one exercise, but yeah, definitely when it comes to versatility in terms of your overall form between vertical and horizontal pulling, and in terms of weight selection between doing more than body weight or lower than body weight, the lat pull down, it's friggin' awesome. Exercise number 4, cable crossovers. Another chest exercise. So I know a lot of you guys are thinking like, Igor, you already said incline bench press, that's a chest exercise. Are you gonna have 2 chest exercises on one list? And the answer is yeah, because there's a specific reason. I think a lot of people out there, when they're working out their chest, they seem to do so many pushing exercises. Dumbbell press, bench press, incline press, just press, press, press. They actually kind of forget what the main function specifically is of the chest, of the pectoral muscle. That is to actually bring your arms across your body. It's pretty much like, imagine you are trying to clap, but you need to keep your arms straight. It's literally this. So when you're doing pushing exercises, that's actually what's happening because your arms are coming across your body. It's just that it's a little different because you're using your triceps in synchronization, and because of that you are pushing weight. But the main force production from your chest is that arm coming across your body. That's the main function of the pectoral. And a lot of people forget that. They just push all day. So I think that it's very important to include some kind of flying movement. An exercise which essentially takes the tricep extension aspect of it, it takes it out of the movement. There is no pressing. It's not a pushing exercise. It's a flying exercise. And in my opinion, out of all the different flies, my personal favorite is the cable crossovers. A big reason is the actual range of motion. So like I said, if the main function of the chest is to actually bring the arms out, you want to be able to complete the entire range of motion and actually come like pretty much all the way. I mean, this and this, it's like an additional 10% range of motion. It's a small, little cherry on top, but in my opinion, it is important, especially if you want to get that like mind-boggling, crazy inner chest pump. It does help a lot. This is actually one of the problems because when you're doing the bench press, your arms are kind of like stuck on the bar, so you never really get that. Even at the very end of the chest bench press, when you're actually sitting like that, like your chest did like 80 to 90% of the work, but to get that final 10%, you need to do this. And you can do that with cable crossovers. In fact, you can actually go a little bit even more than that. What I would actually sometimes do is take the cables and I would hold them and I would cross them a little bit. It's almost like you're getting 110% range of motion because you're completing the full movement of bringing your arms across the body and then some. You're getting a little bit extra. It'll be the best chest pump that you've ever had. And like the actual contraction and burn that you get in your inner pecs, it's friggin' awesome. If you guys are not doing this in your current routine, I definitely recommend that you incorporate it. And when you do, come back on this video, comment down below next week and thank me. Be like, Igor, thanks a lot. Because of you, I can't fucking move my arms and it hurts like hell for a week. You're welcome.
Riverside, motherfucker.
And finally, guys, exercise number 5. Alternating leg raises. Now this is an abdominal workout, but there's a little bit of a twist that I personally like to do. And once again, guys, this is a common theme throughout this video. Versatility is the name of the game. So when it comes to training your abdominals, a lot of times people will kind of do 2 styles of exercises. They'll do something for your overall abs, kind of just like your standard sit-ups, your standard crunches, and then they'll do like a lower abs workout. That's why you'll see people doing a lot of times hanging leg raises where they keep their legs straight because it kind of focuses specifically on your lower abs. Something which a lot of people out there always have a little bit more trouble developing as opposed to just your overall upper abs. Now, the obvious answer is, okay, just do multiple exercises. Some for your lower abs, some for your overall kind of like upper abs. Just, do 2 or 3 or 4, a full ab workout, multiple exercises. Well, that's fine, but I'm thinking, you know what, if I can double up, if I can save time, if I can have an exercise which is a little bit more versatile, well, why not? So what I do these days, I've been doing this for a while now, and I personally love it because I can get a pretty damn good overall ab workout in as little as like 5 or 10 minutes. Like you can probably do this one exercise for like a solid 5 sets of 10 to 12 reps, and that's it. I mean, it's a long exercise, but I mean, you don't do anything else. Like you're finished. You can go home. No need for like a multi-exercise 20-minute ab workout. What I've actually been doing is standard hanging straight leg raises for your lower abs, but I alternate it every other rep with knee raises. And I don't just do the knee raises kind of like up to 90 degrees in normal. I do it all the way up. It's almost like I'm doing a crunch midair. And I'll kind of do these back and forth. I'll probably usually do around 12 reps, which will be 6 of each. So we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I'll just kind of do that up to 12, take a break for like 60, 90 seconds, and then continue and do multiple sets. Because at the end of this, even though you're doing one exercise, you are working out a combination of your abs, and specifically you're getting a little bit more, a little bit of additional emphasis to your lower abs, an area which sometimes people do tend to neglect. And I love that because, again, it's just so versatile. If I can work out multiple muscle groups or work out the same muscle group in different ways by doing just one exercise, as opposed to having to do one exercise, then go do another one, then go do another one, or, switch, to different machines, different equipment, do all this different stuff. If I can just sit here and in 10 minutes get a full total abdominal workout, that's pretty damn awesome, both from just an efficiency and time management standpoint. Okay guys, that is it. That is my official 2018 top 5 favorite exercise list. I mean, I'm not saying this is set in stone. This may change in the future, but to be honest, I kind of doubt it, as I have been doing this for well over a decade, so I think I've tried everything, and I think I have a pretty good understanding of what, at least personally for me, what I truly love and what works the best for my body. And something that out there, if you guys disagree with me, that's completely okay. Everybody's built a little differently anatomically. What might work for someone and it just feels smooth as butter and it feels awesome, you get a good pump. For someone else, it might just cause like awkward, pain and discomfort, and they just don't really get much of a pump in the desired specific target muscle. So in that case, understand that everybody is a little bit different. But if you guys are kind of beginners, in your first, 1, 2, maybe 3 years of training, and any of these exercises you are currently not doing or not at least prioritizing in your workout routine, I definitely recommend at least giving it a try and seeing how you feel after doing so for about 4, 5, 6 months. Also guys, one more thing. I have finally decided on an official launch date for my upcoming program, the Skinny Fat Solution, which I think I've been talking about for like months now. So this is finally exciting to get something official on paper. The official launch date is set for October 22nd, and since so many of you have told me that you guys are interested and you're waiting for it, I've put together a quick sign-up page where you can go, drop your email, and that way when it's launched, you'll be the first to know and even get discounts on launch day. Also, I really appreciate it because it really helps me a lot in terms of getting an idea of how many units I actually need to order for printing. Although this program is going to be much more than just like one book. In fact, it's going to be an overall course with video tutorials and other multiple online resources. But nevertheless, a big component is going to be the actual physical book. And if 5,000 of you guys sign up on launch date, but I've only got 4,000 units in stock, yeah, I'm gonna feel like a jackass because once they're sold out, it takes like another 8 weeks to print and ship more. So if you guys are interested, you can hit the link in the description box below or visit skinnyfatsolution.co. That's right, it's not .com. I'm too cheap for that. And that way I can ensure that come launch day, you will have a copy with your name on it and we will not sell out. But besides that, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. I'm thinking maybe full day of eating and maybe a little bit of, a little bit of talk about my sprint training routine. I got some questions about that. What do you guys think? Let me know. Drop me a comment down below. And besides that, yeah, peace out, y'all. Hadouken!